Hi, I'm Jermaine Nairn and welcome to Money Talk, brought to you by Jane Money Services Limited. Today we launch the first in a five-part series called Money Talk. Thank you for joining us. With me in studio is Michael Collins, the team lead for youth banking from Jane Bank Limited. And online we have two distinguished ladies, Rose Miller from Jane Foundation and Maxine Hines from Jane Money Services in the USA. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Good to be here.
Thank you, Jermaine. Thank you.
So, COVID-19 has brought to us some uncertainties that we're still trying to navigate. And as much as we'd like COVID-19 to go away, it seems to be here longer than we expected. So, of course, there are many questions that we're asking. Do we spend? Do we not spend? How much do we spend? Where do we spend? How do we spend? And of course, the JN Group always ensures that our people find a way. And so here comes this series, Money Talk. And so today we'll be looking at how we cope with our financial issues post-COVID. And so I want to start with you, Maxine, you're the regional manager for JN Money Services in the USA. Tell us, what impact has COVID had on the business there?
The impact happened to us in such a way where we had persons who still wanted to take care of their people in Jamaica because, as you know, the impact was felt quite a bit there as well. And you could not going to leave your people just out in the open like that. Everybody needed monies to get their various things dealt with, from food to paying bills, etc. So our people here found it necessary to figure out, how do I go about helping my people in Jamaica, but at the same time being able to stay safe. So of course, with our extremely innovative marketing team that's there with you today, they came up with, you know what, this has to go via technology. We have to figure out a way to get our people to use our services in a safe and efficient way. So technology was the way to go. So one of the first things we did for those persons who had to come into the locations, we said, okay, we understand one of the ways that this COVID is being spread is through the handling of cash. So we started to promote the cashless option. So when you come in, just come in with your debit and your credit card, and just like that, you get through, because our due diligence is such that we make it very simple and easy for our customers. And then we do have a number of our diaspora that is not able to come in. They're limited, whether it's they don't have the mobility to get in, whether it is the time constraints, because with the curfew, with the limited ways that you could move about based on the different limitations set by the state and the city and the county. We then decided, okay, you know what, our online option is there. Once you go on and register, it makes it so easy for you to send those funds anytime, anywhere.
Let me ask you though, Maxine. So you're telling us about how they can do it. Now, for many people in your jurisdiction, they would have lost their jobs, and so incomes would have been reduced. What has been the key advice?
That's the thing. Our Jamaican people are very resilient. So for those of us who lost our jobs, when the little stimulus money come in, they still figure out a way to share it. When the little unemployment money come in, they still figure out a way to share it. When the little other odd jobs monies that they are able to make outside of their regular jobs, they still find a way to share it. Also, we have, fortunately, unfortunately, depending on which side of the fence you're on, our tax season ran all the way until in July. So when those tax monies come in, they still found a way to share it. So even though a number of our customers lost their jobs, there were other little avenues where income was still coming in. and they still found a way to share that limited income that they have by sending it to their folks in Jamaica, taking care of their bills in Jamaica and their other financial obligations. So yes, they had to be very innovative with how they say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. How do I then rearrange my finances so some of this money go back home? And that is what a lot of them did. So even though there was the low income, they still found a way to share. So even though they lost their jobs, what I'm saying is that there was always another way that income was coming in, from stimulus to unemployment to odd jobs to everything. I'm telling you, I must applaud our Jamaican people because they're extremely resourceful.
Excellent. Now, there's a buzzword that is being used, and that buzzword is pivot. We have to learn to pivot in this pandemic, and it certainly sounds like JN Money Services is doing that. Now, for those clients who are used to the face-to-face interaction, how have you been able to deal with not having clients face-to-face, but still facilitate them doing their transactions and having continuity with supplying money?
Well, that's what I was speaking to earlier in terms of our online service. In terms of our money card, there are so many things that we have. And I was doing a radio program yesterday with a very popular Jamaican personality, Winston Barnes. A lot of you are familiar with his name. And that's one of the things he said. That's why JN will continue to be a service leader, because these are the innovations that we had in place already, so people could easily switch gears to manipulate all the things that they needed to do. So I can no longer deal with you face to face, I can go online. Or if I need to deal with you face to face, we switch our policies and our procedures to accommodate each and every one of our customers that come into us. So, it has been a thing where JN Money Services always think ahead. We always try to make sure we're a step ahead so that whatever happens, we can develop and do what we need to accommodate our customer base.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Maxine. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now take our first break. We'll be right back.
JN Money Card send from abroad. JN Money Card. Send the money. Mo want withdraw in a hurry. JN Money Card free. With your TRN and your ID. And when me not walk with cash, me just swipe like that. From abroad to card. Get the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. JN Money Card. Stay safe and collect funds on the JN Money Card.
Welcome back to Money Talk. We have with us today in studio Michael Collins. He's the team lead for youth banking in JN Bank Limited. And online we have Rose Miller, grants manager at JN Foundation, and also Maxine Hines. She's the regional manager for JN Money Services USA. Maxine, you were just telling us about the impact of COVID-19 on JN Money Services and your clients. Now, just to close out this segment, can you just give us a few tips as to what exactly people can do to continue to cope?
Well, it's based on our economic situation right now and everybody wanting to make sure that they can have a little bit to send in. I would say to our customers, even if you are having challenges with whatever little money you have to go around, and you always want to figure out the best way to do it, give us a call, reach out to us, always come in and speak to us, or tell us. All our personnel here on the ground and over the phone are here to help you. So the first thing is always, first and foremost, stay safe, but always reach out to us, give us a call, and we will help you to find that way in which you can send that money back home to help your people without breaking the bank or without breaking your wallet. All
right, thank you so much, Maxine Hines, Regional Manager for JN Money Services USA. You've been quite insightful. And of course, that's what we do here at JN. We help you to find a way. And in this case, we help you to find a way with your money. Now, over to you, Michael. You know, these uncertain times call for people to know the how. How do they save the money? How do they increase the income? What needs to be shaved off from what needs to be invested? And that's where Jane Bank comes in. And the biggest question when people are looking at options is, why should I go with Jane Bank?
Absolutely. And you know, Maxine said it just now. Jane Group, we've always been thinking ahead. So some of the innovation and technology that we put in place were specifically done because we knew that people needed convenience. And just in case of something happening, people need options to be able to do the transactions that they've been doing. So our customers and our members, whether they are from the Jane money service side or from the Jane Bank side, we understand this from years ago. So for example, we understand from the Jane money side that the convenience of people, wherever they are, getting a debit card, that the money is sent to, just like that you can go to an ATM and actually collect your remittance instantly without having to leave the comfort of your community necessarily, is forward thinking. So the group has always been technologically advanced. On the bank side, where I represent, Jane Bank, we've also been doing that, and we've been doing more of that recently. So we have our express area. And in Halfway Tree, for example, where we have our 24/7 Jane Express area, where persons can, at any day, anytime, step into a secured area, and through our smart ATM, they are able to deposit cash without a card, deposit cash through an ATM or check, and it goes straight to your account. Now that is remarkable. So in a pandemic as this, persons who are, they don't really want to be mixing with so many people, they can pace when they come to do their banking on their time. You understand? So we are promoting safety. And here, of course, as we have our own money, JN Money masks, this is what we're promoting, that people should really consider while they're trying to do their daily lives, still exercise safety. The convenience is here, right?
One of the things this really highlights, viewers, is that even in the midst of Jane possibly not having the uptick as it is used to, we're still putting people first.
Absolutely.
Because that is what Jane is about. So it's about putting people first and helping them to find a way without compromising on the people first mantra.
And that is very important for you to note, because that putting people first is straight through the group. And although we're representing two brands today, two truly authentic Jamaican brands.
It's one JN.
It's one JN. And because we're Jamaican, and as Maxine mentioned, people recognize this. And so we are promoting for persons to actually stick to the entity that really is thinking about them. So our online banking platform, for example, is another avenue where persons have actually found it very, very convenient, where they can do most of their banking transactions. And especially where in Maxine in USA and or in the diaspora in particular, persons want to feel that they're still connected to their account. So they want to know what's happening on their accounts. So the Jane online banking facility, the platform, is one avenue that affords that. So again, persons are thinking that, well, it's a good thing, for example, Jermaine, that I had an emergency account. As Rose will talk about later in this presentation, one of the smart financial tips to have is to make sure that you have emergency accounts that is for situations like this. So whilst persons across the world, and in Jamaica, of course, within the island, can remit funds, persons should understand that once those funds are remitted, portions of that fund should be literally be put aside in case of any unforeseen circumstance. We are going through a phase where we're not only seeing the COVID-19 pandemic, but we've seen the near brushes with the hurricanes, the storms recently. We're seeing where we're feeling tremors. So the possibilities are here. So savings is important. And again, Rose is going to talk a little bit more about that. But Jane Bank in particular is considered as I would say the People's Bank. And it being truly Jamaican, owned 100% by its members, persons should actually try to facilitate sticking to an institution that thinks about them like that. And like Maxine said, connect with our people and don't be afraid to ask questions. So persons can go on our social media pages, or Instagram pages, or Facebook, and even through our website, they can ask questions. And in fact, if they need to access the products and services, we have the avenue there. Again, convenience. You don't necessarily need to leave where you are to find out how you can access a loan, or how you can start a savings account, or even to update your record, or even, as we are doing now, or have been doing since the pandemic, making adjustments to persons' payments, Jermaine. Because some people have lost their jobs, as Maxine mentioned. Some are on furlough. They're not, in and out and all that stuff. So basically, persons can go on our website, send us a request, and there are persons who literally are sitting there to answer their questions, as well as to take those requests and pass it on to the relevant units for them to be actioned. So that's what we're talking about: convenience and technology.
That is excellent.
Innovation.
That is excellent. I want to pick up on the point about convenience. No, clearly we've demonstrated as an organization that we're putting people first, and we want to ensure that the processes are as seamless as possible.
Yes.
In a time when physical distancing is the new norm.
Yes.
We thought ahead, and we have put in place measures where people can still live their full lives.
Absolutely.
Without being hampered by the physical distancing.
Certainly.
The banking platform in particular, can you tell our viewers a little bit about how convenient that is, and what are some of the things they can do on that platform?
All right, so our online banking platform has been around for quite a bit now, and we are constantly improving it. And it's there not only for the personal banking, which is, regular me and you, but we also have our business bankers who have now relied on it, with us being a commercial bank. But the convenience of, the service is as such, where persons can literally not only add their accounts and their loans and certain bills that they're paying on the platform. Once they set it, they forget it. So that once they're making a bill payment, for example, which is part of the Jane Money service, persons literally just need to put in the amount that they need to pay this month, whether it's for electricity, for cable, or whatever it is. And here, for example, I represent the youth. So there are school fees. So there are certain universities where they can actually go on our JN Live online platform and stay where they are and make those payments, So where the other things that a lot of our customers and members find convenient about our online platform is the ability for them to track even their credit card payments, because we now offer that service. So they're able to add the credit card there. They're able to see what's happening on their credit card. And of course, for each transaction that is dealt with, they get an instant text. So again, we're stressing technology, but with security. Yeah? Easy security, people first. Then we have the options for persons to literally know what's really happening on their accounts. So you can go and see if your loan payment was done on time. So normally you'd have to go and pick up your phone, or you'd have to go inside the location. You can go straight on Jane Live online platform, and you're able to do that. All right? Now, another sweet thing that we've been offering on our JN Money, on our JN Live platform, that's our online banking, is the ability to actually purchase cell phone credit, top up your own cell phone with that, or send credit to somebody else at the minimal price, whether it's for in Jamaica here, we have Digital and Flow, you get at their price, so it's actually cheaper. So we actually do have that facility as well, and lots of people have found it convenient. All right. There are several other services that are there that are offered, on the online platform. So all we ask persons to do is to literally go on our website, jnbank.com. You see the live, it's right at the top, the live icon, click on it, and it will take you there. We have videos to show persons how to use it even before they set up. And by the way, as it relates to application, how do you apply for it? Straight online. Within 24 hours, you're up and running. So that's the convenience for the people.
All right. That's great news. I mean, Jane Bank is certainly making waves.
Yes.
And the Jane Group has certainly been one to innovate and to continuously reinvent itself. You know, not only responding to the times, but being proactive and anticipating certain things that will happen. All right, there we had it. That was Michael Collins from Jane Bank. He's the team lead for youth banking. And of course, as usual, Michael, that was just phenomenal information that you've given to us. We take a break and we'll be right back here on Money Talk.
JN MoneyCard send from abroad. JN MoneyCard. Send the money. Mo want withdraw in a hurry. JN MoneyCard free. With your TRN and your ID. And when me no walk with cash, me just swipe like that. From abroad to card. Get the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. JN Money Card. Stay safe and collect funds on the JN Money Card.
Welcome back to Money Talk. Here we have with us today Michael Collins from Jane Bank. We have Maxine Hines, the Regional Manager for Jane Money Services USA, and also Rose Miller from Jane Foundation. And today we continue to look at coping with financial uncertainty post-COVID-19. And Michael just gave us quite a litany of products and services from Jane Bank, that customers, members can take advantage of. Again, thank you, Michael. Pleasure. And now we want to go to someone who is going to tell us a little bit about how we can get blood out of stone. So we've heard about how we can get the money to each other. We've heard about what we can do with the money. Now, the important part, the important layer that we've not spoken about so far is how do we ensure that we stretch that money as far as possible? Given all the uncertainties, given the fact that people don't know if they'll have their jobs in the short term, people have lost their jobs. Of course, you want to ensure that you maximize on the resources that you have. Rose Miller, thank you for joining us again. Welcome to Money Talk.
Thank you so much. More than welcome. So happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Rose, I want to just get straight to it. People are worried, and rightfully so. And so the first question that they have is, how do I make what I have work? What do you say to such a person?
All right, and that's such a crucial question, you see, because this whole pandemic thing, it hit us almost like a rock out of nowhere. And so we have really had to pivot, we like to say, into so many other things to make sure that we survive. So the reality of many persons right across the world, and Jane MS customers also involved, is the reduction of income in many instances. And so we want to learn, how do we navigate this space now where we have less money coming in? So one of the first things we want to do, team, is to make sure that we are looking at our budget. Well, I'm hoping that we have been budgeting, so I'm going to start with that premise. So we have to now be looking at our budget. And number one thing is to look at how we are spending this money. We are actually forced into it because we have already established that there's less money. So now we have to look and see how we can adjust our spending to make sure that we survive. What are some of the things that we can do? Of course, chief among them is we have to probably revise where exactly do we shop. And as we all know, sometimes where we shop influence the prices a lot. So number one adjustment in our aim to cut spending, look at where we are shopping. So as we go shopping now, we have to make sure that we are taking advantage of discounts. Do not be afraid to ask for your discounts, because sometimes it's available, but we don't ask, so we don't get. And then if we have rewards, if we have coupons, then we definitely want to be using those. Because any percentage we can get shaved off of the bill is gonna be a sum that we can put towards something else. So take advantage of your discounts and your rewards points and so on. And pay attention to where we're shopping. Then as we go shopping, we also want to look at what we're buying. Right here, I just want to say from several persons, we're into buying, brand A grade. It would not be surprising to hear that if you were to go for A minus, you would not have lost much, if anything, but you would have saved some money. So take care in substituting. It could be brands, it could be products. So there are some products that you can substitute. Instead of using this particular product, you can substitute another one. Not just by way of the brand, but by way of what the product offers. We also want to be creative as we spend, particularly when we're talking about meal preparation and so on. Use different things to stretch meals. That's okay. But the family has to be fed and there's less money. So in Jamaica, and I don't know, in Ghana and USA, I'm sure you do these things as well. We can do some spinners. We can do vegetable in the meats, just to make sure that instead of or now having to prepare 2 pounds of meat to suit the family, depending on the size, we can now do 1.5, and we can do additional vegetables, which more often than not is a lot cheaper. So while we are being creative, we are also making sure that we are providing nutritious meals for our families. And you know why we need to make sure that the nutrition remains? Because we really do not want to get sick right now. And when we remain healthy, then it also helps us to fight the virus that's facing us. If we are unwell, then we're more susceptible to the virus. So be creative with our meals. Be creative with meals preparation. We can also be creative as well with our recreation. You know, you don't have to spend a lot of money on recreation. You can do fun things at home. Well, the pandemic has kind of grounded us, But some places are gradually opening back, so we may want to think we want to get out and we want to spend what we don't have on some form of recreation. We want to be very disciplined and talk to ourselves if we have to. No, we have to be creative with recreational, so we have to find inexpensive ways of having fun. If we're going out to work, this is not a time to be spending money on attire at all. We can find things in our closets to wear. We can dress them up, dress them down, just to make sure. People, this is not a time to be spending unnecessarily. So clothes buying, not at this time. We need to be retaining cash in our wallets, in our accounts, so that in the face of the uncertainty, then whatever we have can last us a long time.
In other words, stick to the necessities and put the luxuries on pause for now.
And there's no time for luxury. There's no time for luxury right now.
The truth is, and Michael, I don't know if you've discovered any new talent, but in this COVID time...
I have.
You have?
I didn't know I had so many. That's for a different time.
In this COVID time, one of the things we've learned being at home is that we have more talents than we thought. Mm-hmm. And so when you speak about creativity roles, one of the things that we see on social media, especially now, is the whole matter of meal preparation and how creative people have become. And all of a sudden, you know, the substitutes that we never knew could have been substitutes before have become front and center of our meal prep, for example. And so you hit the nail on the head when you talk about being creative. And I think one of the things we need to come away from COVID with is the fact that all that we used to use before was unnecessary.
Totally.
Yes, go ahead, Rose.
Go ahead, Rose.
I was saying to Jermaine that you will agree with me that even now, taking into consideration that so many of us have to be working from home, what you've just said is really the reality right now. Mm-hmm. Really the reality. And that's where I've discovered so many things that I can really do that has literally saved me money. Mm-hmm. So you're right on the money.
Indeed. No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Go ahead, Rose.
Something else we can contemplate as well is do it ourselves. You know, we have probably become accustomed to paying persons to do some things that we can actually do. So now is also a time as we seek to trim our expenses to focus on activities and tasks that we can actually do for ourselves. I think we have learned a lot in the area of cooking, so just leave that for our time, where a lot of people are now cooking at home and doing awesome things. But what about cleaning? We can also do some amount of cleaning and save some money as well. If we are so inclined and we are so skilled, then some of our beauty regimes can also be done on our own. And we can also do our own lawn mowing, we can trim trees, we can do our painting, all of which probably before COVID, we shelled out hundreds of thousands of dollars to cover. So do it yourself is another way of keeping money in your pockets. I also want to encourage us to also go out and plant something. I firmly believe that agriculture, particularly for the Caribbean and so on, agriculture is one of the ways to help us to really bounce back. As we talk about food security and all that, it is one of the ways. So don't wait until there is a push from the legislators, the government. I want each family to go planting something that you can actually step outside and reap. Callaloo tomatoes, cacao, whatever, plant something. Banana, planting. Plant something. It's going to aid your budget, and it's also going to aid food security in the family and on a national level. So those are some of the things that I would recommend as we seek to trim our expenses to make sure that we retain money in our pockets, because that's going to be very, very crucial. And last but not least, one of the things I also want to recommend is, as you look at the budget, and some of us may have loans, what are some of those loans that you can probably say, you know what, I'm going to shelve this loan? And recently I was talking to this young lady, and she was explaining to me that she was so stressed. She had lost her job and she was so stressed. And one of the stresses she had, in addition to the rent and this and that, was her car payment. So if we can sometimes reevaluate, lose the car. It's going to aid your peace of mind, and it's going to really take off some amount of stress. Once the car is not a vital part of your operation, then lose the car. As things improve, you can always get another car.
Mm-hmm. Rose, I have to tell you, those are not only practical steps, but they're very relevant as well. But in the midst of all that is happening, for those who perhaps their psyche is in the doldrums about losing a job, what would you say to them about how they recalibrate their skill set? You know, for a lot of people, this is an opportunity. As much as it's a crisis, you know, it is said that a crisis, you should never waste a crisis. And so how do you advise people to revamp themselves and upskill themselves?
Yeah. Because that's something that really needs to happen right now. And upskill, skill up, additional skills, improvement on your skills so that you can add more value in a space. This adding of value could be the edge that you get to actually walk into a job. You know, so add more value to your skills. And definitely, there are so many free courses available now. We want people to be taking advantage of them. Not only because you need to make some money, but we have to really get prepared, even for after COVID, when we're gonna need these additional skills so that we can help recoup, because it was always a good idea to have additional streams of income. But now more than ever, when the mainstream has dried up, then these additional streams are what are gonna be crucial. So if we don't have a skill yet, it's really time to get one. If we had one, sharpen it up and get another skill. So there's nothing like being able to do things, particularly creative things. There's a lot of space now for creativity. There's a lot of space now for technology-driven things that persons can do. So that is definitely an area that you can get into, focus on, sharpen up, expand if you're already in that space. But it's a great time to be alive when this pivoting thing is a lot easier, made easier by technology. So that's what I would recommend. It's time to get a skill or two or three.
Indeed. Multiply those streams of income. And of course, here at the JN Group, we help you to find a way to upskill yourself. I mean, we spoke about the money services options earlier. And for many people, with the recognition that this may not be as it used to be, you have to pinch off a little bit. Every mickle make a muckle. You pinch off a little bit to ensure that you save up enough just so that those courses that are not free, you're able to afford them. And the truth is, there are many courses that are being given on a discounted basis that people can take opportunity of. Including online. And so, of course, with the online courses, that also reduces costs because there's no commute, there are no overheads for the people.
Whenever you wish.
The convenience. And so, Rose, we just have to pivot. That's the reality, right? We just have to respond. We just have to adapt to what is happening because the only thing that is constant is change. And so we have to learn now, as part of the new norm, to change our modus operandi. Good? Now, Rose, I want us to look briefly on the whole matter of credit and how we leverage credit, because a lot of people have mixed views on credit. Can you speak to us about that a little bit?
Certainly, and this is such a crucial area, you see, because with losing jobs, with losing a portion of your income, then some people are driven to credit. But a couple things on credit. Credit is really a good tool. But the real important thing is we have to know how to use credit. So we want to be maximizing in our time right now how we utilize this credit. So for the person out there who may have a lot of loans, one of the first things I want to recommend is seek a way to consolidate those debts. But that it will give you some space. So you bring all your debt under one umbrella, and JN Bank will be more than happy to do that for you so that you will have more manageable payments on a monthly basis. Debt consolidation is key, but when you get that little wiggle room to maneuver, I want to make sure that you're making the best use of that space. It is not a time now to get back into further debt. So consolidate your debt, make one payment to one institution, bring in all 4 or 5 under one umbrella, and extend the payment, and you'll get some ease on the monthly, which would be better able to fit into a reduced budget. Then I also want you to take a serious look at your credit card. Credit card, awesome tool, but it depends on how we use it. So use your credit card properly. And in this time when funds are down, we may be driven to maxing out the credit card. And for some folks, that's just one alternative they have. But I beg you, make it a short-term alternative. And even while you're using the credit card, do make payments on your credit card. Even the minimum payments. Now, I would not normally say you make minimum payment, because my theory is make sure you pay off your credit card every month to ensure that you don't pay any interest. But we are in COVID times, so we have to give a little latitude. But at least the minimum payment, all right? Promise to yourself that as soon as you can do better, you are gonna make a serious effort to reduce that debt on your credit card. One of the things that's really critical is we have to pay attention to these things because our credit score could be in jeopardy. And we don't want to do it even at a time when there's so much pressure on. We don't want to jeopardize our credit score. We also would recommend in the area of credit, if you're not able to pay all the bills, then do pay just a portion of it just to make sure that you are actually honoring something of your debt. Reach out to your creditors. There are still awesome people who are willing to say, well, I understand, I'm going to give you some more time to pay it off. And this could be institutions, this could be family, this could be even friends. And do not be afraid to even ask for debt forgiveness. There are possibilities. Put everything on the table, all right? And if there are still payment holidays, that's a no-brainer. We want to be going for those as well. But responsible use of credit in this time is the recommendation, because you want to come out of COVID with your credit score intact, with your relationships intact. So we don't want anybody hiding from creditors. Talk to our creditors. They can be very understanding, because it is not a Caribbean thing for COVID. It is not a USA thing. It is not a European thing. It is a worldwide pandemic, and everybody who's on the face of the globe now understands exactly what is happening. So when we're making the effort to sort out our credit with our creditors, you're coming from a place where they truly understand what's going on.
Indeed. You know, Rose, this is why we are the Jamaica National Group, because within the one entity, we have a number of arms that affect the lives of so many people in so many different ways. And so here, as a family, we extend that family arm to the public. It's not just internal, because again, it's about putting people first. And so what you've outlined there demonstrates that we are living our mantra. Again, thank you so much, Rose Miller, Grants Manager, JN Foundation. Thank you so much, Maxine Hines, Regional Manager for JN Money Services USA. And of course, with me here, thank you so much, Michael Collins, Team Lead for Youth Banking at JN Bank Limited. Viewers, there you have it. We're helping you to find a way. Maxine outlined to us how it is that JN Money Services is facilitating in a seamless way, very convenient way, your transactions, right? Michael outlined to us how it is that JN Bank, the People's Bank, is helping us to find a way. And closing us out was Rose Miller from JN Foundation, teaching us to make every bit of the money stretch. In other words, every mickle adding up to make a muckle. I'm Jermaine Nairn. Thank you so much for joining us for Money Talk. Today, we dealt with coping with financial uncertainties in post-COVID. Join us next time with another riveting episode. Until then, stay safe.